We're here at the studio of Custom Bike Fit and I'm with Michael Baker. Michael, welcome.
Thank you. Good to see you, Richard.
Absolutely. Now, I've been seeing Michael for a number of years now as my bike fitter, and I would certainly recommend no one else but him. But how did you get into bike fitting, Mick?
Crikey, it's a long story. I don't know if I have enough time. I walked away from my corporate job in 2010 and I did some travel around Australia. Triathlon and cycling has always been a passion of mine. And long story short, I ended up on the Sunshine Coast. About 2011, I made this home and I just woke up one morning, I didn't have a job. And I asked myself, what am I going to do? And this voice said, do what you love. Yeah. And that's when I started Custom Bike Fit.
Awesome. Yeah. And how have you been, over that period of time, how have you, I guess, brought in the knowledge, or how did you learn the craft of it?
Yeah. So it's really one of those jobs, those skills that you learn on the job. So the more people you see, the more fitting you do, the more accomplished you become as a fitter. So naturally I went through a certification process. I went to the Retail University. I've been a bike rider for almost 40 years and I've been doing triathlon now for 28, 29 years. So you bring a lot of that experience to the fitting process. Yeah. So a lot of what we do, or a lot of what I do is, yes, there's a lot of technology involved, but it's really about empathy. It's about how would I feel if I was in that position. I can often look at people, I can sometimes better communicate what's going on than they can, if that makes sense. And it's an understanding of what the requirements are in cycling, in triathlon, to make sure that you're comfortable, make sure you're riding efficiently, you're not going to get injured, you're maximising your power and your aerodynamics for speed, those sort of things.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people would look at bike fitting as a purely aerodynamic outcome, that they want to be as aero as possible, but that's not necessarily the best outcome, is it? No,
absolutely not. The primary outcome of any bike fit has to be comfort. You can't do anything without being comfortable. So, obviously, I see, for example, fits maybe on the track where the outcome is all about speed. But typically my clients are riding for hours on end. If you look at the triathlon base, they're doing half Ironman, they're doing Ironman. So that's anywhere between two hours and maybe 7 hours on the bike. So your professionals, 2 hours for a half Ironman, up to 7 hours for your age groupers on the bike, and anywhere in between. And then of course they've got to get off and run. So comfort's the most important thing, making sure they're not getting injured, so efficiency. And once we have those things dialed in, then we can start looking at aerodynamics. And maybe the aerodynamics come in 6 months, or 12 months, or 24 months. It's often an evolution. I mean, even with you, Richard, in our last fit, we spent a lot of time working on hand position, and you're an accomplished triathlete. So the fit is, as I said, it's an evolution, and the primary outcome is comfort.
And I guess since 2011, since you've started, we've seen in the market, I guess a evolutionary step with superbikes like the P5 behind us. How has that changed the bike fitting spectrum with those sort of superbikes?
Yeah. So superbikes sometimes a blessing, sometimes a curse. What I tend to find, there are a lot of bikes so what I look for in a bike is adjustability. We see with a lot of superbikes a lot of integration, so cables hidden, and the manufacturers looking for the most aerodynamic frames. It's getting the right mix of the aerodynamics in the frame and in the components, and then the adjustability, because still the majority of the drag is created by the rider. Yeah. So if we've got a super bike that looks great in the wind tunnel, but we can't adjust it to get you in the right position, well, that's a big cross. There are certain manufacturers, and Cervelo is certainly one of them, that have the right mix. We've got adjustability and we have the aerodynamics in the frame, in the wind tunnel. So yeah, things have changed. I think they've changed for the better.
Yeah. All right, well look, you're extremely knowledgeable, and I have always put my trust in you, and it's so important, I think, for any rider to have trust in their bike fitter, because at the end of the day, that's what we're relying upon. There's all this training, all this equipment in there, but if the fit is wrong, it will ruin your ride, it will ruin your run.
Yeah.
You're branching into this sort of online fitting virtually now,
yes.
And you have done for a little bit. but you know, can you explain how that works?
Yeah. So it's been about 6 years.
Yeah.
About 6 years ago that I did my first virtual fit or remote fit. And really a lot of the things that I do with a client in person, I can replicate over video. So it's a matter of pre-fit questionnaire, getting a background of the rider. Where are you today? Where do you want to be? How do I bridge that gap or help bridge that gap? I work a lot with video analysis, so I get them to send in certain videos of them on the bike, video overview of the bike, so as if I'm walking around the bike. And then I become the eyes and the mouthpiece, if you like, but the client becomes the hands. So I'll instruct them, okay, you need to make these changes, and it's usually 2 or 3 changes, get back on the bike, shoot some more video, give me some feedback. So it's a collaboration. And there might be 2 or 3, even 4 iterations. I had a guy fit in Austria a few weeks ago, and he emailed me every single day. And that's fine, you know, because I want him to be a happy customer. And with some clients, it's, as I said, it's 2 or 3 iterations and the job's done. So,
no, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's a great way of being able to help people that don't have access to a professional fitter, and it helps me as well.
Yeah. And something that you just said, I think, what I know of you as a person, you are so keen to help.
Absolutely,
you know, and
yeah.
that's what that boils down to the service that you're providing.
Yeah.
So it's great to see that anyone in the world can access you now, not just people in sort of in this area of the country. So, how can people find you?
Well, website, which is custombikefit.com. I have a YouTube channel and quite a number of subscribers. There's about, I think last count, 106, 107 videos on there, and they're typically bike fit tips. So a lot of information there on self-serving, helping yourself, and of course my Facebook page as well.
All right. Thank you, Mick, and let's get into the bike fit and the P5.
Okay, thank you.